Did you know that MS-13 gang started in LA?
No.
It's
Well,
called-
I didn't know that.
Okay, so MS-13, Mara Salvatrucha, and there's another. Uh,
Well, like you mentioned, you had Loco Tres, the 13 different logos for the 13 here in the valley. So
right. See, but I don't think like the average American knows like so they say we see MS-13. Trump would say like these are bad hombres,
Yeah.
you know, they're gang members and this and that. But like when I was mentioning earlier about like the history of our involvement in these other areas, it was in Nicaragua.
Okay.
Jacobo Arbenz had just become the president, elected by the people. It was a democratic election.
Okay.
And he had promised his people, because at that time, the United Fruit Company, they owned over, I think, 50 million acres. I think I got the number. It sounds like it, but I think I got the number of plantation for their bananas.
Okay.
So from the term the Banana Republic comes from. And Jacobo had promised his people that he was going to buy that land back and give it to his people, right?
Okay.
And kind of distribute it among his people, because the United Fruit Company basically owned the country. Our United States Corporation owned the country. And their previous ruler had given the United Fruit Company full range to do basically whatever they wanted in their country. And so they employed a whole bunch of Nicaraguans. I mean, they weren't getting paid anything, right? So this guy gets elected, popular mandate, and he basically bought their land, whether they liked it or not. He bought their land, and he paid them what they said the land was worth on their taxes.
Okay.
Which they
Not much.
devalued it. You
Yeah.
know the way they do, which wasn't much. Right? So they didn't like that. Right? So over here in the U.S., the president was Eisenhower, and his Secretary of State, John Dulles, and his brother, who was the head of the CIA, Allen Dulles. They used to work as lawyers for the United Fruit Company.
Okay.
So United Fruit Company went to them and said, "We need to do something about it,"
Yeah.
you know. So they sold Eisenhower that they could overturn the election, right? So basically, long story short, is they worked in a coup in Nicaragua. They got their duly elected president kicked out through a CIA coup, and they instilled one of our dictators, his name's Castillo. Yeah,
Okay.
they instilled a dictator from there, but he was going to basically give their land back
Yeah.
to the United Fruit Company. Okay, so this destabilized the region completely. It fell into a civil war, right? So of
Okay.
course refugees came in and,
Yeah,
and they came this way, right? And so around this time, we're talking 60s, 70s. We accepted the refugees in. A lot of them went to the LA area, right?
Okay.
During the 80s, there was a huge gang
Yeah.
problem, right? Mexican gangs, Crips, Bloods.
Okay.
So as these refugees from Guatemala were trying to make ends meet, right? Parents, both mom and dad were working. Their kids who came in as toddlers were left to the streets, right? So now they're competing with other gang members, right? They get into smoking. And the funny thing about these guys is that they really like heavy metal, right? So the tattoo that you see, the whole Judas Priest, it's a Judas Priest album.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it's a crazy aside, right? But as they grew in numbers, the Mexican gangs felt like they were a threat. So the Mexican gangs united to try to take them out. But in that time, they were the state of California was trying to get rid of the gangs, right? They were pushing to get rid of them, which left the MS-13, which were barely grown, which let them get more power, right?
Okay.
And why they got more power, the 96 crime bill passes, which made it okay for petty theft or DWIs they were just doing to get rid of these guys, right? So they were radicalized in America, right? They became gang members in America, but we saw the problem, and some even became legalized citizens, right? But because we didn't want the problem, both Democrat and Republican said, "We need to get these motherfuckers back to Nicaragua," right? We shipped them out by the thousands back to their home state, right? In '92, the Civil War had just come to an end in Nicaragua. So now there's a resemblance of peace happening in the area, right?
Okay.
And now we're sending back these gangsters, right, who are starting to get enmeshed in their culture, right? And they start, radicalizing kids. And then this problem just grows, right? I think in '96 we deported maybe like don't quote me on this, but maybe it was like 3,000 or 4,000 gangsters. By 2013, Barack Obama had deported 100,000.
Yeah.
Of these, I mean, so we're sending these criminals back, we're sending them back, and we're destabilizing these areas, right? Their culture, and suddenly the people don't want to live there, and they're coming over here themselves, right? I think a lot of people. I think to get down to like the root of the problem of immigration, we really have to come to terms with our involvement. You know, I think, and this is just my opinion, because I feel like we might disagree on this. I think the issue with Donald Trump was that he didn't know any of that stuff. It's politically salient to be as hardline on immigration as you can, because Merle in Kentucky, he doesn't know that history.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And so he just wants these people out, bad hombres, right?
Yeah.
But we never really look at what our obligation is to the people, to the good people, because you saw in the video itself, most of them are girls, wives, and children. Like, what is our obligation, knowing our history, and like what we contributed to the destabilization in the. Have you thought about that question?
Never thought of it that way, but it is something to look at.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that question. That's why I'm asking. Like I really, that's something I think about. I don't know. Maybe that's the reason why the whole other than Mexican policy exists.